I'm coming in as my first year this year with Rust College. I've previously coached in Boston at a community college. And between then and now, I was a high school coach in Memphis. So I'm entering for the first year this time.
So you have experienced other areas of competition, and you're new here into the GCAC. So when you heard all the things that are coming in the days, months, season ahead for GCAC, what do you think about that? How do you feel? You're new to this and you're hearing all these things come about.
I love seeing growth. I love seeing expansion, networking, community. So the fact that we were encouraged to not only expand beyond what we are now as GCAC, but also even within when we're in that room together, just getting to know each other. It's important because the people you meet, you just never know when you're going to see them again and cross those paths. So I hope in the growth of GCAC, same thing happens for our student athletes.
What does GCAC Rising mean to you? Again, as someone who is new in this league, what does that mean to you?
I mean, first and foremost is just people recognizing who we are. As somebody who's just coming in new, I didn't know what GCAC was prior to a few months ago. So I would love to see somebody say, hey, we're part of the GCAC, and somebody goes, oh, I know exactly what that is. I know what you mean. I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to accomplish and the difference that you make in people's lives. So I really hope to see GCAC Rising become a change, a positive change.
For you as well, let's talk about the season that's coming up. Describe to me, in your words, in your view, the team that will be competing this year. Again, you're new here, but what do you see as the possibility, as the character of this team in the upcoming year?
My biggest goal with the girls is to get them to buy into the importance not only of the athletic component, but especially the academic component. So if you can buy into the fact that this will boost you forward, not just as an athlete, but also as a person, as a student, going forward into your career. Once they buy into that, I want to see that positive change in the team and have them really work towards their own individual goals as part of the big picture.
What do you see as the strength? What do you see as the weakness of the team?
One of the biggest strengths is the fact that we have a blank slate. We are starting fresh together. So along with the athletes that are returning, plus the ones that are coming in, plus me being the new coach in the picture, we get to start fresh. So anything we set down as a team, any expectations, we get to pretty much build from the ground up, which is a great thing. One of the biggest weaknesses is basically putting the past behind us. So focusing on today, focusing on the individual effort and attitude of each individual person and bringing it together and moving forward. That's going to be the biggest challenge.
So this will be unique for you, again, because you're new. What one word would you use to describe your team?
I would say rejuvenated. I think we need to find the life and the passion and the heart within the team. And once we can find it as a collective, it's going to be a true new beginning.
Got other coaches at Rust that have been there for a little while and been very successful. How much of a help have they been to you already, being a new coach on the block?
The whole community aspect is so strong at Rust, and I am so proud already. We're coming in with the matching polos and the great attitude of, let's get this, let's work together, have all the heart and the passion. So I have to say everything that I've learned so far has come from the amazing team that I'm with.
And being new to the conference, Dillard pretty much is one of the bullseye on the back. What do you tell your girls as far as your team, your players? I want to call them girls and young ladies. Mm-hmm. What do you tell them as far as teams like Dillard, how to follow their lead to get where they are? Because they have the bullseyes on the back. What do you say to your girls about teams like Dillard and Fisk, which have been successful?
My biggest strategy is always focusing on what we can control. So we can control our attitude, we can control our effort. We can't focus on what the other team can do because we got to focus on what we are going to do. So yes, there are going to be great teams that we're going to be up against. At the end of the day, what are we willing to sacrifice? What are we willing to do? How much work are we willing to put into that game, that practice? That's when we get to see what we can do with a team like that.
Coach, that's interesting because I also work for TSU's volleyball team as well. And she said that a lot. We can just control what we can control. The other team has to come up to ours. Is that pretty much what you say to your girls to just control what you can control and let the other team? Because that's interesting. A lot of sports don't say that. Why volleyball? Why is that so important in volleyball?
Volleyball is so different from other sports, I feel. I mean, if you compare it to, let's say, basketball, you can have an all-star player who can take a ball and just dribble it down the court and score. She gets that great pass, shoots the ball, there she goes. In volleyball, you really depend on every single person, whether they're on the court or on the bench. So if you don't trust in that moment the effort that every single girl on the court or woman on the court is putting into the sport, it really all falls apart. So the trust and the effort and the focus in that moment is what counts for everything. So ultimately, you can't control whether the other team passes the ball perfectly or shanks the pass. You can't control whether the other setter, gives a perfect set or sets it over the net. You really have to be ready for what you are willing to do.
All right, Coach, we asked about your team, we asked about you, we asked about GCAC. Anything that we did not ask that you would like to add?
I'm just really excited for the volleyball program at Rust. I believe that we're going to see some really positive changes, and I'm really proud to be on board.